it's Chris from Good Roads, and I gotta start with a quick apology. I wrapped up this project and then caught COVID, and I'm still recovering from it. But I wanted to share this with you, so apologies for the sort of sniffly voiceover on this one. Wheels! A while back, I did a series of projects learning how to cast DIY skateboard wheels at home, and we're finally getting back to it. I asked y'all what kind of wheel I should try to make next, and the winner, by quite a bit, was a 54-ish millimeter conical street style wheel. And here's the new mold. Here we go. Now, as you'll see in this video, these molds work, and they work without any post-processing as long as you have a good mold release. So for the first time, I'm going to be making these molds available for sale. They're up right now at goodroadscollective.com. I'm sick, guys, I'm not singing the jingle this time. Either way, I'm super excited to finally be getting a wheel mold out so that you guys can give this a shot and take a stab at making your own wheels. On that note, we're having a sale over in the shop, 10% off everything until the end of the year, trying to do a little something something for the holidays. All you gotta do to get in on that is use code STOCKINGUP at checkout. And yeah, anything in the shop, 10% off. Like these molds right here. And these things, I've been having a lot of fun with these things. So let me show you how to use them. And I also want to answer some frequently asked questions about wheel and urethane casting that have come up in the comments since I did that original run of projects. And I also got some of my own questions that I want to answer. So let's get into this. So the first question I want to ask is how much post-processing these molds do we actually need to do? Because I don't like sanding. And I would love to be able to pop a mold off the printer and use it right away. So we're going to test 3 different methods. One mold is only going to get mold release and no processing. One mold is going to get just a layer of paste wax. And one mold is going to get a sanding pass at 140 grit and 2 coats of paste wax. The wax takes a day to dry, which is another reason I want to see if we can skip the post-processing because that takes time. So while that's doing its thing, let's test the untreated mold. When I first started experimenting with DIY wheels, I was using petroleum jelly as a mold release, but I've since learned that a proper mold release, like this stoner urethane mold release, is like night and day. Seriously, this stuff is the special sauce, and I think this is what's going to make it possible to cast a wheel in an otherwise untreated FDM printed mold. So let's give it a shot. I gave the mold a generous dose of release. And then we're ready for urethane. I'm using the Flexit 90 formula from Specialty Resin, which I've used successfully in the past, made a bunch of wheels with this stuff, and I like it. This formula makes a wheel with a 90A durometer, which is a little soft for street wheels, but it should make a good set of cruisers. It has a very fast working time of about 3 minutes, but it also has a very quick cure time, and you can demold the wheels in about an hour and a half. It can also be measured by either weight or volume, and the ratio is 1:1, so it's a super easy formula to use. So I measured my part A and part B. And mixed some alcohol ink into my part B for color. But be careful with this. Some alcohol inks gave me no problems at all, but I tried making a pair of blue wheels and the ink caused cure inhibition, wasted some material, and gummed up my molds. Oh man, I don't think these cured right. They did not. Dang it. Okay, well, what to do about that? If you want to be sure, it's probably best to just use pigments and dyes specifically made for urethane casting. Otherwise, you might end up in a place where the chemicals, they don't get along so well. With my color added, I then mixed my resin. I stirred for a count of 60, and you can feel the chemicals heating up around the 45-second mark, which shows that the reaction has started. That means you're on the clock. I grabbed the bottom of my mold and filled it to the bottom of this chamfer at the lip. Then I pressed the lid into place and continued to fill the mold through the funnel sections in the top. The next common question I want to address is this: do you have to cure your wheels in a pressure pot? And from experience, the answer is yeah, you probably really want to do that. but I want to show you all why. So for this wheel, I'm going to cure it in open air at ambient pressure. An hour and a half later, I can check my mixing cups to make sure the resin is cured and try demolding the wheel.
Okay, hold on. Nope. Man, I was really hoping that the mold release would do the trick. It's not even rotating. Hold on, let me get a pair of vice grips. I was really hoping. The mold release would do its thing. Oh, hold on. All right, we got rotation. Hey, whoa! Cool. All right. Neato. Now we just got to get it released from this. There's a trick to that. Let me show you. So, in addition to being pour spouts here and like overflow so that you can trim the wheels, these sections of the top mold are meant to be dovetails, so that when you get the wheel unseated, you have something that'll key against the top mold and you'll be able to pull it out really easily like I just did, even though you get all these layer lines that would otherwise kind of want to prevent that. And all you have to do to release it is go in and cut the urethane down to the lip of the area where it sort of flares open. This funnel-ish section has a straight area at the bottom and then a flare, kind of like a normal funnel. And you just cut the urethane down into the straight section and it should unlock the wheel fairly easily, although this is going to be a big greasy mess, I think. Be very careful doing this. Obviously, you're dealing with a knife. You're putting a lot of pressure on the rubber to cut it correctly. Don't cut in a way that if the knife slips, it'll be headed towards your meaty human body. And you don't have to be precise with this. You just want to make sure you don't cut too deep, because the next step is going to be to trim off this area here. Okay, and I think that's mostly clear of the keyway there. I may need to grab a paper towel, but let's try this. It's moving. It is moving. Is it still keyed in? I can't tell. Oh yeah, no, there is an area here. This spot looks like it's still sort of locked in some. Don't do what I just did, because I'm putting my hand right in the way of the knife. Another advantage that you have if you try to get these parts ejected pretty close to the cure time for the resin is it'll be more flexible than when it cures fully. You want to do a post-cure on these parts of at least 24 hours. Longer would probably be better. There is more information on that in the spec sheets for whatever resin you end up using for the urethane. It's locked in there pretty good, man. I had an easier time getting it off the bottom of the mold. Maybe you should hear. Hey, there we go. Again, twisting really helps. All right. Look at that. And then you can see here, this is that lip that's created by the straight part of the funnel. That just needs to get trimmed off, and there's a little bit of flashing in here in the bearing seat, but this is easy. You can just get in there and trim that right off because it's super thin. Yeah. And then this guy here, again, be careful, it's a sharp knife, but just trim it so that it is flush with the lip of the wheel. And when you put the wheels on the board, put this end towards the inside of the board so you don't have to look at the ugly bit. Here you go. One homemade skateboard wheel. Pretty hype. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
And that worked pretty dang well. The wax on the other molds is still drying, so let's talk about pressure casting. Up until this point, I've been using a modified pressure pot from Harbor Freight, and it works okay. But recently, a company called Vevor reached out to me to see if I wanted to try this. This is a purpose-made pot that's a little more focused on casting, and will hopefully work better straight out of the box. And speaking of the box, this thing came packed like a tank, which I really appreciated. And I can already see improvements from my DIY version. The plumbing is neat and organized, the pressure valve is easy to read, and these clamps are the real winners. The paddles are huge, which give you a ton of leverage to tighten down the lid, and they're so massive that you can just set them spinning and they'll cinch themselves down. Just in general, I think this mechanism will apply a lot more force to the rim of the lid and make it much easier and faster to do so. When you're casting materials with a quick working time, every second matters. Speaking of the lid, the gasket looks good. It's even got a bit of an indent for the edge of the pot to seat in. And this bit right here is probably the only part that doesn't really work for what I'm trying to do. This is a downspout for using the pot to pressurize paint, and we just don't need it for what we're doing here. So I'll probably just take a pipe cutter to it at some point in the future to clear up that extra space in my pot. The kit's even got a little fitted piece of metal to make a flat surface at the bottom, which helps keep our resin level. I had to make that for myself on my last one. It's sealed and kept pressure straight out of the box, and I've had to do no fiddling with it at all to get it to work. It's a tad more expensive, like 20 or 30 bucks more expensive, but all in all, it's a much better option than the modded Harbor Freight version that I've been working with up until this point. I got a link down below if y'all want to grab one for yourself. They gave me the pot for free, but my opinions on it are my own. And I like this thing. Okay, back to the molds. Now that the wax is dried, I need to buff it smooth with a scrap of cloth. And after adding some mold release, we're ready to cast some more wheels. I'll be doing 2 at a time this go around, both the unsanded and sanded version with their coatings of wax. So let's mix up some urethane. Fill the molds. Carefully place them in the pot. And pressurize. "1.5 hours later, we can demold. Cannot tell you guys how loud that is in person. Let's crack her open and see what we got. Oh, much easier. This must have been the sanded one. Perhaps not. Huh. Really? That would be cool. Oh, paper towels. Hold on. Got a little bit of wax that came off the mold with it, but that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Let's get her unlocked here. Is that going to be good enough to get it out? It is! This is sick. So this is, I think, based on the finish quality here, that this is the set that just got the paste wax and wasn't sanded. And I wasn't expecting it to make much of a difference. And aesthetically, it doesn't. Like, you can still see the layer lines from the prints and everything. But it's much easier to get out of the mold, which I find kind of surprising. All right. And if that was that easy, this one is going to be a cakewalk, I think, right? Yup, no problem. Yeah, and I'd say that one looks better too, finish-wise. Not by as much as I would have thought. Interesting. Awesome. So now we've got 3 wheels to compare. Let's take a look at the surface finish. It actually seems like the sanding and paste wax didn't make a huge impact on the aesthetics of the surface of the wheel. It's mostly the radius of the lip of the wheel that's getting smoother. But I know from previous castings that if you want super smooth wheels without any layer lines, all you have to do is dedicate the time to working up through the grits with your sandpaper. The place where the wax seems to actually have made a big difference is in how easy it is to demold the wheels. The unwaxed mold was a struggle to get the part out of, but even with no sanding and only 1 layer of wax, it was really easy. And the next thing I want to show you guys is the difference between a wheel cured out in the open and a wheel cured under pressure. Here's the wheel cured out in the open. See all those little bubbles in the rubber? and here's the one that's cured under pressure. Solid all the way through. I think you could absolutely ride that wheel with the bubbles in it, but the pressure-cured wheels will be more consistent and less likely to fail, because all those bubbles, they're kind of little weak points. One other thing to keep in mind, this is fresh resin in a dry environment. I learned the hard way that with older resin, or when dealing with humidity, the bubbling issue gets so bad that not even a pressure pot can beat it. So don't let your urethane sit out on the shelf, and don't let it get exposed to moist air for too long. It's better to use it quickly. And because I want to use this quickly, I made a couple more wheels. So, there you go. A new set of wheels and a bunch of questions about making wheels at home answered. The new 54mm conical mold is available in the shop both as a physical object and as print files. And in case you're looking to sort of dip your toes in the water, there's also a different geometry available open source. It's a pool wheel. It's kind of a mother recipe. And that's available over in the project section on the website. One more question that I want to answer is, how much does it cost? Is it cheaper than buying wheels? And I want to think about it this way. I'm going to give you the pricing just per wheel as if you already had the casting equipment. It's a one-time investment. I think between a compressor and a pot, you're probably looking at about $200. But then every wheel you make after that is just the cost of materials. A 32-ounce kit of Flexit 90 from Specialty Resin, which is the stuff I used in this video, costs about $28 before shipping and handling. I will easily get 2 sets of wheels for that much resin, which works out to about $14 per set. If you do your mixing and measuring carefully, you should be able to get 3 sets out of that same 32-ounce kit. And if you do that, it works out to about $9, a little over $9 per set of 4 wheels, which is about $2.30 per wheel. I'm making wheels because I like making stuff. I like making things from scratch, and I think it's fun. But if you're trying to think about this from an economical standpoint, $2 and change per wheel, that seems like a pretty good deal. This set of wheels in particular is going to be free for somebody because I'm going to be giving it away over on Patreon. So if you want a chance to snatch these up, or if you just want to support your boy, consider jumping in over there. It really is much appreciated, and it is a big help, bigger than you probably would know. If you want to cast a set of your own wheels, just mosey on over to goodroadscollective.com, grab a set of molds. Remember, stocking up at checkout for 10% off of everything in the shop till the end of the year. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this one. Do all the things that make the algorithm happy, get out there, make boards, and I'll see you soon. At checkout for 10% off of everything in the shop till the end of the year. Sales. Marketing.